All right, everyone. So we're going to be looking at consumer arithmetic. So we know from last class we look at some parts of this already, but we can do a quick review of the profit and loss section. Just to go through the notes, nothing too detailed, just a quick refresher. So the first part of the notes here, it says buying and paying, and I won't just read it exactly, right? Um, So you are familiar with buying items in shops and markets, but often when buying expensive goods, different methods of payment are available. You might be offered a higher purchase agreement. You would pay a deposit, then pay the remainder of the cost of the item in a specified number of monthly, it's often monthly installments. In a sale, the cash price might be reduced. You need to remember that most goods are subject to a government tax. This is often known as VAT, value added tax. The Jamaican equivalent is GCT, general consumption tax. This says which is currently 17.5%. I do think that is the case. I think it's 16.5% no. Right, but that is neither here or there. You just work with the question. All right, so what it says there, it says calculate the total amount of customer pays for the television set. So it says $1,600 plus VAT of 15%. So when you go down, it's a calculate the total amount a customer pays for a television set. So this one, based on what it did last week, supposed to be straightforward. You just find you can either say 1,600 multiplied by 1.15, and that should give you the total amount paid. Or some persons would probably find 15% of 1,600 and then add it back to the 1,600. So if you look, that's what they did here. So you have the 1,600 originally, and then plus 15% of 1,600, and then you add them together, you get 1,840. But as I mentioned, you can also multiply the 1,600 by 1.15, right? So it's like you're multiplying by 115%. The 100 represents the original price of 1,600, and then the additional 15 represents the tax amount. Then it says the sale price of 1,600 is 20% less than the original price. Calculate the original price of the television set. Now, this question, it's a typical question, and something like this, you don't want to be thinking too long on in an exam, because you should be practicing these types of questions so many times that you know what to do straight off. So it says if the original price is P dollars, you may see people use different variables, X dollars don't really matter. In this case, I guess they use P for price. Then 80% of P equals 1,600. So they're saying that, as it says, P is the original price. So it's like a writing on what the statement is saying. Tell me, guys, you guys can see my screen, right? I just want to make sure. So 80% of P equals 1,600. Just as the statement says, it says the sales price of 1,600 is 20% less than the original price. So if it's 20% less than the original price, then you're saying 1,600 represents 80% of the price, the original price. So that's what they did. They said 80% of the original price is 1,600. All right, so we'll move along. And then once you have that set up, then you just divide by, divide both sides by 80%, which you can just divide the 1,600 by 0.8, and you get 2,000. And then if you want to check it back, you can just say, okay, 80% of 2,000 and you get 1,600, right? Exactly what the statement is saying up above. Oh, and they did a check. See here, they did a check here. So their check is to find 20% of 2,000 and then subtract it. Subtract that the answer, which is the 400 from 2,000, you get 1,600. Same thing, right? You can do it either way. All right. The next thing we have here is they're talking about bills. So the monthly water bill for domestic users is calculated from information shown in the table below. It's a fixed charge, 350, and then charge per gallon is 20 cents. So you go through is to calculate the total amount of bill for a month when a consumer use 3,850 gallons, right? So fixed charge. So whether or not to use water, is water that I'm talking, right? Yeah. Boom, water bill. So whether or not you use it, you're gonna have to pay the 350. And then for every gallon you use, you pay 20 cents. And you just run that in. So fixed charge, no matter how much you use, you have to pay this. So if you never use any for the month, you still have to pay 350. And then for every gallon, you pay 20 cents. All right, the next one. So the next one is looks like a higher purchase type question. It's a printer is advertised for sale at 84,000. A discount of 12% is given if it is bought for cash. It can also be bought on higher purchase by paying a deposit of 29,400 followed by 24 month installments of 2,300 each. Calculate the cash price. So then tell us straight up that if you buy it cash, so this is the price that you see this price on the tag, and then they tell you some things about it. You get 12% discount if you buy this thing cash right now. So the long way is to take 12% of this and then subtract it from 84. Or the short way, so they did it long way here, or the short way is to just multiply this by 88%, right? Because you would say, okay, if this represents 100%, then, and I'm going to pay 12% less. So that means I'm going to pay 88% of this. And then you find what is 88% of this. And you're good to go. However, well, not however, but alternatively, you could just find what 12% is first, put on the figure, and then subtract it from the 84,000, right? And then you would get the cash price. For the higher purchase price, you read some more, they give us some information. They say it can also be bought on higher purchase by paying a deposit at 29,400, followed by 24 monthly payments of 2,300 each. So you look and you say, all right, first amount of money I need to bear in mind is this. You put that down, and then the next thing you need to bear in mind is that you're going to add 24 times 2,300, and that would be a higher purchase price. And then they ask you the amount saved by buying the printer for cash rather than higher purchase price. Well, you look at the difference. You look at the answer you get when you multiply this by the 88%, and then you look at the answer that you get when you work out this higher purchase fees, which is 29,400 plus then 24 times this 2,300. And you look at the difference between those two, right? And the difference would be the savings, right? So it's like saying if you had bought this thing cash versus higher purchase, what would be the savings? What would be the difference? And you do all of that. So scroll down
Sir,
and see. Yeah.
I'm going to step away from the laptop for a minute.
Oh, all right, no problem. But you can see the screen though. Just making
Yes, sir,
sure.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah, good. All right. So so we have the higher purchase price as described before, the deposit times 20, the deposit plus 24 times the 2300 as described, and then the difference is the amount saved. Next up, we have this example. It says in selling an article, a shopkeeper made a profit of 20% on its cost price of 8,000. What was the selling price? So we're gonna look at this one. Um, just a second. All right. So it says in selling an article, a shopkeeper made a profit of 20% on his cost price of 8,000. What was the selling price? All right. So let's read it again. So you made a profit of 20% on your cost price of this. So they're talking about the selling price. So you can work it two ways. So some persons will find 20% of this and then add it to it. So that look like 20%, that look like 1600. See right here, and then they would add it to the 8,000 and you get 9,600. Or as I put it here, a quicker way to calculate this is to just multiply this 8,000 by 1.2. So the one, so you can say 1.2 or 120%. The 100% represents the original amount of 8,000, and then the 20% would represent the profit. So when you multiply it by 120%, you're effectively saying, given back the original amount of 8,000 and put on 20% on it. And so that's what they did here. All right, so we reached some exercises. I figure you guys would have also done some of these exercises already, some of them. So you can tell me, well, let me look on it, go through and see which one is worthy of doing it. You can tell me if you guys did it already. Um, so let me quickly look on it. Yeah, all right. So you did this one already, this one about the computer. Okay. All right. So let me just scroll through, down. What about this one? It says consumption tax, custom duty are calculated as follows. Consumption taxes, that custom duty, that what is the total um, tax paid on an article which is valid um, at $150.
No, sir, we didn't work that one.
All right. So this one, how you think you would approach this? Just thinking of, just looking at it. It's a, so I'm taking that. It's a, what is the total tax paid, right? So based on what it says, I'm taking
Mm-hmm.
customs duty to be a type of tax, right? So
Yeah.
you would just say, all right, it's a 20% of that value. Let's see if we can work it out now ahead. Um,
So 20% of the 150.
yeah, so yeah, I got at 20%. So 20% of 150 and then 50% of 150 because I said the thing is valued at that. So 20% look like $30, 50% look
Yes.
like 750.
Yes.
That's well,
That's
yeah,
true.
775 I should say. So 37 plus 75, that's like 105. So you can confirm for me. We'll just do the question. All right, what about this one about the water? Water Authority charges 350 per month for the metering, 750 for the first 100 liters, $30 for each additional 10 liters. What is the total bill for 250 liters used in 1 month?
We didn't work that one yet, sir. I haven't looked at that one. We did one. There was another one that we did first, but not that one.
Oh, there was another one like it. Okay. All right,
Yes,
cool.
there was one like it.
All right, let me. Oh, my thing, just the button just press a while ago. All right, so you want to try this one? Since you would have had some experience, try it and tell me the answer, or try it and then we can work it out afterwards.
Yes, sir. Right.
All right, cool. All right, Shauna. So, what was your first move?
All right. My first move was what I did. I said I wrote down the cost for the month for the amount of water you use. Whether or not you use that amount, you know you have that set cost
Okay.
for the
So,
month. So I wrote down 350 $350.
and I'm gonna put the cost per month.
Yes.
And you say it's 350.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then under that I wrote the first 100 liter would cost $750.
100 liter. It costs how much?
$750.
700. All right.
Then I wrote for each 10 liter, for each additional 10 liter, the cost is $30.
Mm-hmm. So,
After doing so,
so is how many
I
liter?
realized that, sir,
Is what is it's 250 liters in total, right? That you're going to use.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, sir, 250 liters in total.
All right.
So what I did next,
Mm-hmm.
I subtracted the first 100 liter from the
Mm-hmm.
250 liter.
All right. So you leave back with that much.
Leave it with 150 liter.
All right. So 150 liter.
Then after having the 150 liter, what I did, I divided that by 10 liter and ended up with 15.
Um.
I divided the remaining
So you
by
did.
10 liter because remember,
Mm-hmm.
it says that $30 is for for each additional 10 liter. So I divided down the 150
Hold on. Let me put cost
by
per. Let me put cost per 10 liter is cost
cost per, yeah.
per 10 liter or 10 liters, I should use say, is
Mm-hmm.
$30.
$30.
All right. So we have, so that means 15. So therefore
Multiplied by 30.
we have
150 divided by 10 times $30.
cancel. So that gives us,
Yeah. Then end up with $450 for the remaining 150.
all right. So
And
in,
then I just went ahead and added the cost for the month plus the first 100 liter
so this
and ended up with $1,530 for the month. That would be the total.
1,530.
That would be the
Well,
total cost. But five, sir, where you get three, sir? Should be five.
where's the 1,000? How much?
$550.
Okay. That's what me curious. Say. All right, fine. All right. All right, great. So I'm not even going to check. Because this look alright to me. This is from the question. This is from the question, and then this right here. So you put the zero. This is fine. So I leave it to you to add up all of this. and it looks about right. Right? So we have 350 this, yeah. Because this would have been this by itself is 1100 and then 450. So fine. Great. So that's good. So we can move right along and see what else is there for us to do. All right, so earning and exchanging, right? So this section deals with the important topics of earning money and paying tax on money earned and exchanging money in different currencies. So it gives an example. Basic week time, 40 hours, wages, $32,000. The table above shows how a company pays its workers. Overtime is paid 50% extra per hour. No problem. It's a calculate the basic hourly rate. The overtime hourly rate. The total wages for a worker who worked 10 hours overtime in 1 week. The number of overtime hours for a worker who earn 50, 56,000 in 1 week. So without even looking at the answers, right? Let us see what you think about this one. So if so this so the thing to note is that this thing up top here that says basic week, very important. Very important, right? It says basic week. And then when I look right here, so it's a calculate basic hourly rate. Very important that you see the basic and the basic together, right? So that just means that this is standard, them say, okay, if you work 40 hours for the week, we pay you this amount. That is it's the standard or um number of hours that you work, and you get your standard, $32,000 for that. So the ask, calculate the basic hourly rate. What you would do.
Sure, I would divide the $32,000 by the 40 hours, the wages by the time.
All right, so divide $32,000 by a 40.
40 hours, yeah.
Correct. So right, put that answer somewhere. Do the calculation. If you have a calculator and put it somewhere.
Done, sir.
All right. Then it says the ask, what is the overtime hourly rate? Wait, what would you get for that?
So we'd have to the overtime at 50. Say, say for instance, they should normally works 5 hours over for the week. You'll multiply that 5 hour. No, may I explain it wrong? So what you'll do, you pay her the extra, the $800 times
Mm-hmm.
the the. Let me get it right. Remember for work. All right. After calculate, pay her the regular rate of $800
Mm-hmm.
plus that 50% extra
Mm-hmm.
for overtime per hour.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll pay. You'll say for overtime is 50% of the eight. You have to find 50% of the $800 per hour. Then add it back to the $800.
Which work out the door.
All right, 50 would be equal to $1,200
Excellent.
because the 50% would have been $400. It does. Mm-mm. Only 1,200 in a sir. 50%. Yes. Yeah.
Mm. So
Of
you
that amount would be $1,200
the $1,200
per hour. Yes.
per hour. All right. So, and as I was saying, you have the two ways, just as I worked it, you said 50% of 800 and then add it back to the 800, or you could just multiply the 800 by 1.5, right? So that is another way where the one represents 800 and the zero point 0.5 represents the half that you're supposed to be adding, the 50% that you're going to add on top. So you just kill two birds with one stone, really. the same thing. So the next thing now it asks is the total wages for a worker who worked 10 hours overtime in 1 week, right? So they're saying apart from the 40 hours of them work, okay, I have to clear the 40 hours first before you can consider anything else to be overtime. You know what I mean? You can't work 30 hours and say, oh, 10 of that are overtime and 20 are regular. No. First 40 hours is a basic week hours, and then anything over that are overtime. So bearing that in mind, what you think is the total wages for a worker who work 10 hours overtime in 1 week? Any ideas?
So I was saying, for that person, you know that the person already works 1,200 per hour for overtime. So you multiply that 1,200 by the 10 hours, which gives you, I check it, calculate mega on too much. No, 50%. No, you said $400 because $400 is for per hour for overtime. So that person will be working. Nah. So right, so let me confused.
Yeah, so I get confused. So let's take it one step at a time. If you're working somewhere and somebody say, how much money I make this week? I'm just say I do some overtime, how much money in total I make this week? Right? Then you're gonna say, all right, me do me do 10 hours overtime the week, yeah. Plus me do my regular hours. Because in order for the overtime, you would have had to have
Gone through
done
your
your
regular
regular
hours.
hours. So if somebody asks for your total wage now for the week, you gotta put up, you gotta say, all right, my regular hours money, in this case, $32,000, and then you gotta
Mm-hmm.
add now your overtime money, which is the 10 hours times the 1,200. So you gotta add an additional $12,000. So it's a
Yes.
32,000 plus 12,000,
Plus 12 gives you 4,400.
44,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know me work it out, but me just trying to explain it right.
Well, with practice, I guess it will be easier to explain, right? So
Yes,
the
sir.
next one, them say now the number of overtime hours for a worker who earn $56,000 in 1 week. What do you think that work out?
So you first subtract the 40-hour wage from that 56.
Mm-hmm.
Then say the 56,000 minus the 32,000. Come on, calculator. You get 2,400, 24,000. So for the extra time, you would have gotten 24,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have to divide that down by the 1,200.
Mm-hmm.
Gives you 20 hours extra.
Correct. Yeah. So that's it. So let us look now at the answers going down.
Okay,
Should I can write on this? Just make it easy. Come, I can't.
try.
I can't write at all. Put it. So it go. Oh boy, it's a be a job. I come up here now.
Yes.
That's how that thing come up. Let me see. I'm scroll down. All right.
Oh,
So we got that. The basic. Remember we got this here. Let me
yes,
change
sir.
to clues, man. And go here. So all right. We said 1,200 for that. Total wages. We said that. Um,
Ooh,
and then we said 20 hours. Lovely.
yes, sir.
So this note say a man who has a wife and two children earns $32,000 a year. Annual tax-free allowances are shown in table one. So let us see if we can hold them up, table one and table two. Right. So it says calculate his total annual tax-free allowances. Let me just big it up. So your annual tax-free allowances, right? And then his annual taxable income. So it's interesting that in the section before they didn't really explain how this work, but let's see. I guess they wanted to explain by giving examples, right? So let us, even before looking at the examples, get an understanding of what's going on. You you have any idea of how this tax-free allowances thing work?
No, sir.
What do I mean by
I'm
taxable
blank.
income? All right, so you have situations where a party income is not taxable. So you have some allowances like that's not taxable. The government not going to tax it. So you get the money and then say, okay, you get 100,000 for example, and then say usually you would get taxed um on any income. That is PAYE. Um don't even remember what the rate is. But whatever the rate is, cool. I have tax threshold and all of these things. So for example, it's 20%. So you'll get some money when you earn some money and then would normally tax at 20%. But say I have an allowance where them say they will only tax 50% of it. And the rest, it's tax free, you just get it. So you get 100,000 and so only 50% will tax. So so if it wasn't like that, if it wasn't structured like that, then the whole 100,000 would have get taxed and you would have pay 20,000 in taxes. But now that them so only 50% of it is taxed, then only 50,000 of it is taxed. So you pay 20% on 50,000, right, which work out to 10,000. So,
Okay.
so you find that when it's structured like that, then you gotta pay less taxes, which everybody's gonna be happy with, right? So it's a similar situation. So that's a calculated total annual tax-free allowances. So them say a man who has a wife and two children earns that a year. So a wife and him, so that a
Mm-hmm.
so that's a $1,800 a
900
year,
times.
right?
Okay.
And then him have two children
Yes, sir.
that are 80, that
That'll
are
be 800.
800. And then is one family, same I get that. Same have this. Well, of course, this will be multiplied by two, multiplied by two, and so you can put that in a calculator, right? So
So it will be 5,100.
say 5,100. All right, cool. So let me put in my thing too. All right. So you get that now. So them say is total annual tax-free allowance is that, right?
Okay.
And then them say is annual taxable income. Now the question is, um, you may be wondering, oh, sir, is it that him earn this and then the other tax-free allowance is
Subtract.
is it that you subtract or is it that you add? And that would be a good
Yes, sir.
question because one would say, um, Does that 32,000 include the allowances or does it exclude
Yeah.
the allowances? So I put that question to you. What do you think?
I think it includes.
You think it includes it?
Think it
All right.
include.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So if you think it included no, then you're gonna say, all right, what you think would be is taxable income then.
Sir, I'll subtract that 5,100 from the 32,000.
All right, cool. So that will leave back what?
26,900.
26,900. So we're assuming that, and so that would be, we're assuming that it's included in it. So we taking that view that the 26, we say 26,900
Yes, sir.
is taxable income. All right.
Okay.
So the next one now. Table 2 shows the taxes that are due annually. Taxable income, first 20,000, you pay
Okay.
1,200. The remainder, you pay
Pay 30%.
30%,
30%.
and the remainder, calculate the taxes that you should pay annually. So what you think now? You think, because we have a figure that we're working with, so tell me how you go
So we
about
have,
it.
sure. All right. First, I'll subtract the 20,000 from the 26,900,
Mm-hmm.
leaving me with 6,900.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll find 30%
Mm-hmm.
of that 6,900.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 30 divided would be equal to $2,070 would be the 30% of it.
Okay. So what about the 1,200? You're not doing anything with that?
So you so with the 1,200, what I'll add back the 1,200
Mm-hmm.
to the 2,070
Mm-hmm.
coming, which will be equal to, so the tax that you'll pay will be equal to $3,270 of what he has left after taking out the allowances.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Those,
Let's see.
that sounds good. That sounds solid. So let us see. So say all of that. Exactly. So that's what you said. You said 3,270.
Woohoo!
Say you on
Woohoo!
fire, man. That is really good.
Yes.
So you see just that little understanding right here about what is
What
taxable
part?
and this is tax free allowance. So that's a key thing to
Yes.
remember here. Everything else is common sense, yeah?
Okay.
So just remember that. So let's move ahead. So currency. So you notice again, well, no, I should answer. Notice again, they didn't say anything about currencies before, but they just want to, they're teaching you by example. So
Okay.
I ask, but the good thing about this, they just give you one rate. In reality, you have a buy rate and a sell rate. When you go to the bank, and you have some foreign currency, and yeah, they'll buy it from you for like a little bit of money. So, for example, you have a
Yeah. And
US,
spell
you have a US, and then buy it from you for, I don't know, 135.
what was if
But
so much.
yeah, yeah, if so much, right? Probably 130. But if you want to buy US from them sell it to you at some exorbitant money, probably 145,
Yes, sir.
150. But good thing about this, they just give you one rate. Um,
Okay.
so they say using the exchange rate table, calculate how much a person would get for exchanging 15 pounds sterling into Jamaican dollars, right?
I know what it- So just simply multiply the 130 by 15
You see?
gives you 1,950.
Just like that. And then they say 3,000 Jamaican dollars into pound sterling.
So you'll divide. All right. You divide the $3,000 by 130.
Mm-hmm. And I said 300 US dollars into Jamaican.
You multiply it the 300 by 90.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the rates.
This
What?
must be a long time ago. You see them rates? $90 and 130.
Yeah.
No, this is
Long time, sir.
145 and this is almost 200.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Another example. So this one look more um
Detail.
involved. Let us see if it actually is, right?
Yes, sir.
It says an investor bought 6,650 US dollars using EC dollars when the exchange rate was one EC is equal to 35 cents US dollars. For this service, he paid the bank 1% of the amount of EC dollars he spent. How much EC dollars did the investor spend to obtain um, 6,650? Any ideas
Hmm.
on this one?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes. So you'll divide. So would you divide the? Let me look at it right. Invest about 6,509 US dollars using AC dollars. So would you divide the 6,650 by the 35 cent US or multiply it?
Yeah, ask me. Just think about it. What makes sense to you? Because remember, in art, forget about this 1% for the time being, right? If this question is set up like the question up top with a table, because it's basically like this, with a table,
Oh,
right? Just think about it that way. It's just that it's because when I deal with Jamaican dollars, it may just feel like, foreign and it just not feel. But think about it, so
so you
investor.
divide it down. So you divide it the 6,650 by the 35 cent US to get the amount of EC dollars that was exchanged.
All right. Are you sure?
So I think so.
All
Maybe
right.
not 100%, but I think so.
All right. So just imagine yourself go to one bank. Cool. So one if you're sure, Imagine yourself go to one bank.
Yes.
You want to buy 6,650
US.
US using EC dollars, right? So you're gonna with the EC dollars, um, and you say, all right, we need to get some US. So the question is now, how much EC dollars you need to get the 6,000? And if you look at it, if you look at it already, one EC dollars give you
Is equal
l-
to
less
35 cents.
35
Less
cents
than
give
a
you
dollar.
less than a dollar, right? So you're gonna need more. You need more EC
Well,
than right here. So than the six
yes.
fifty to get the US where you want, right? So
Oh,
when you think about it now, it's like asking yourself the question: how much EC does I need to get 650? Right?
yeah.
Some people cross multiply, right? That is sometimes the method of choice. Let me show you. They wouldn't even think about it. Let me show you what they would do. They would say so
Let me
one
see.
EC is equal to um US.
30,
And I'm saying,
35 cents
how much EC, XEC is
will be
equal
equal
to
to
6,000,
600 and 650.
right?
50
And then,
US.
and then the cross multiply and say, okay, we have 650 is equal to 0.35 x. So therefore, x is equal to 6,650 divided by,
Okay,
and then they get the answer,
I'm on the right.
right? So I
On
think,
the right.
right? So you divide that to get
First, I think
9,000,
you're getting 19,000.
right? Now, question not done it because them say you need, when you go to the bank with this, as a question say, for the service, the bank will charge you 1%. So you have to go with the bank 1% plus this amount
More.
that to get the 6,650
Mm-hmm.
because you're gonna spend this money in EC dollars, right? So you're gonna
Yes, sir.
spend, so whatever, so 1% at this 190. So you're gonna go to the bank.
Yes.
So the bank
Have to have
fee,
$190 more.
yeah. So bank fee is 190. So you could go in total with the, I just say 190 more. So
Yes.
total spent.
Would be $119,190.
Correct. Right? All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
and that's the idea. No, there are other ways some people look at it, trying to give you as many ways as possible. Let me see which other way. Well, I'm trying to get some space. Let me think about it for a second. Um, I say people think about these things several ways. Da 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 da. Now come to me now. But I guess we'll go to the next question. It should come to me. Hopefully by the end of the class. But there are other ways people think about these type kind of questions. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Mm. Let's see. EC per USD. All right. So the next question is let me see. How much EC dollars did the investor spend to obtain that? Oh, we did that a while ago. Then
Mm-hmm.
so a month later, he converted the 650 back to EC dollars when the exchange rate was this. For this, he paid the bank a fixed charge of $200. What profit or loss did the investor make in EC dollars? So him come convert it back, right?
Yes, sir.
And then they ask what profit or loss. Any ideas?
I'm thinking about it.
All right, I'll go and pause here. I'm going to give you time to think. Um,
Okay, sir.
yeah. All right, so we're back. So the question is what? What profit or loss did the investor make in EC dollars? So
Yes, sir.
what are the ideas you have now?
All right. The first thing I tried was that I divided the 6,650 US dollar
Mm-hmm.
by 38 cents years.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up with $1,750. Um,
You
then
sure?
it stated that,
You sure on a 17,500?
oh, sorry, sir, 17,500.
Yeah, yeah.
So sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Then what I did, I realized that they said that he paid a little more. He paid a fixed service charge of $200.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that after paying that $200 would maybe, I'm not sure, I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
Then you would add it to the 1750.
You sure? We must have pay my pay, you know.
Oh yeah, and then oh yes, sir. So oh, that means I would have to subtract it from the
Yeah,
seventeen
the 1750.
thousand 500.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yes, because
I
that
mean
will be coming
17 to
from
the
what
5.
is paid.
Because in get the 17
So
to
it will be
5.
coming from the money that is converting back.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, some
Okay.
persons what I say, you can think about it the way like if I does that money alone if they have like well not even have, but I think about the transaction itself, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I say, all right, you get 17,500 and then I look and I say, all right, him still even though him get that him still have some monies to pay out of that for do the
Yes,
transaction. And so him have to fork up him have to fork up $200. So some people would have
totally.
said, boy, you can't take the $200 out of some other monies. But if you look on it at the same money as in him could have just I get the 17,500 alone and that alone him have on him if him need
Mm-hmm.
to finish
That's
the
true.
transaction him have to pay it out of the 17,500, right? So
They would have lost that.
hmm?
They would have ended up with $17,300.
Mm-hmm.
But but then again, sir, remember for what he lost, he got when he first did it, when he
Mm-hmm.
first made the transaction,
Mm-hmm.
few weeks before, he spent $19,190.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have then, in order to find how much he lost, I would have subtracted the 17,300 from it.
Mm-hmm.
So he would
Yeah,
have lost 1,000 calculator, $1,890.
yeah, exactly. That's what he would have
Okay,
lost. That's what he would have lost. Because he spent the last time 19,190.
190.
That's the way him spend the last time, but no him only receive 17,300. So him a receive
Mm-hmm.
way less than when him spend the
How
last
much he
time.
spent?
So the difference of the last 1890. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So we'll have some questions. So we can look at the solutions here and then we can go down. So we see the 19,000, 1%, 190 at the top. Then other one, when I convert back 17,500, we pay the $200 fee. I get 17,300. And then the loss is the difference away I'm did spend, which was this. I normally receive this. And so the loss is just 1890. Oh, I have some exercises here. Let
Yes,
me see
sir.
about people earning money. We have Ray has a job. Basic pay is that. Overtime rate is that. During a certain week, she earned that. She worked 3 hours overtime. Then you say the amount she earned at the basic rate, number of hours she worked at the basic rate. So let's just go through some questions and see. Okay,
Sir, you're sounding a bit low.
so low. Oh, all right.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
let me see if I can adjust that. All right. Let's see. Are sound any different?
Yes, sir. A little better.
All right. So this part now says this look like an interesting question. Kathy earned this amount. Her allowance is that she did not pay tax on this amount, and a further that amount. Blah blah blah. She paid that and that. She paid that and that. That and that. All right. That's a question that is a good practice question you can try. Let's see.
Okay.
Currency question is here. Jamaican dollar is that for? I guess $1. Yeah, £1.
Okay.
How many exchange for that? How many that for that? How much that for that? All right, go down. Um, do, do, do. Yeah, so those are some questions. So saving, let me see. It's interesting that they didn't mention any higher purchase question
Up
just
top.
up top, right? No higher purchase. So some interesting things going on down here. All right, let us see. So we I guess I can give you these for homework. Yeah, attempt them and then we'll go through them Monday, right?
Okay.
Um, yeah, so try them go through them Monday. We'll go through savings.
Okay.
So the thing just jump out. Go through savings and see what's going on. So it says this thing here giving itself some problem. Um, so it says we finish this unit with the important topics of saving and investing money. A key factor here is the interest rate and whether it is simple interest, that is, interest paid out each year, or compound interest when the interest is added to the account each year. Compound interest has been dealt with in Unit 3. Here we will concentrate on simple interest unless otherwise stated. All right, so I guess this part is just a simple interest section. No problem. We will get the practice. I have some other questions, um, some of which I put in the group. Let's say in how many years would $100 invested at 5% per annum simple interest amount to uh, $160, right? So simple stuff like it's here is like blah blah, nothing much. So let us go through. So you invest $100, right? And you get 5% per annum on the hundred
Mm-hmm.
dollars. So every year I can get $5, $5, $5, $5. So the thing with simple interest is that it look at the original amount and it keeps
Yes.
working the interest of the original amount. With compound interest
Okay.
is that compound interest as a word compound suggests interest is calculated on interest as well as a principal. So for example, if you're going at the
Okay.
bank and you invest more, say invest $100 and say they're giving you say 10%. 10% is that easy number. Should be an easy number to work.
$10.
Say it's a 10% per annum. So for simple interest, you would just keep getting $10 every year.
$10.
$10, $10, $10, $10. And you add them up, say, first year you get $10, your total amount of
Mm-hmm.
110. Next year you get another $10, total amount of 120, and you keep $10, $10. Most compound interest
Okay.
says that okay, first year you get $10 interest, and then the next year now when you're calculating, it's gonna say, okay, you have $110 now. You're gonna calculate the 10% on the $110. So 10%
Okay.
of 110 is 11, and then you add the
Mm-hmm.
$11 now on the
To the
110.
110.
So you get
Okay.
121.
121.
And then the next year come now, they say, okay, I have 121. Let's put a 10% interest on that. And that sound like $12.10. Yeah, add that amount to the 121 and you keep doing that process, right? So
Yes, sir.
I'll probably change the screen and show that process, but I guess we can just work through these questions and then go back to compound. All right.
Okay, no problem.
So you're saying how many years would that and it said the interest in 1 year on the account. I would say it's $5, 5% and
$5.
$105. So then it says so the balance of the account increases by $5 per year. So to gain $60, it would take
So for
60
the
divided by 5 12 years.
oh,
Hmm.
in order to get $6, it take out, as it says, 12 years.
Yeah, so it would take 12 years, right? And there's a little formula for it, so hopefully they show the formula later down for simple interest and stuff like that. Um, so another example, an antique vase is 4,000. Its value increased by 5% each year for 3 years. Here it is. It increases by 5% each year for 3 years. So even though this doesn't mention anything about interest or whatever, I think they refer to this type of question as technical it as some appreciation, like value appreciation. So you have depreciation, appreciation, right? So it is basically saying that whatever the value is the year before, you're going to increase that by 5%, and you're going to do that for 3 years. Just a find the value after 2 years, right? So after the first year, we find 5% of this. Um, 5% of this, I must say 200, right? So you have $200. So it after the first year is 4,200.
Okay.
Then the next year, you're gonna find 5% of 4,200 now and add it on top of 4,200. So boy, I do them thing out in my head. So 4,200, so 210, add 210 to 4,200, so you get about 4,410, right? So that would be the value after 2 years. And then it's a show that the value after 3 years is this. So you can show by just going right ahead and just doing this process for 3 years, and then you would get this 4,630 and 50 cents, right? So let's look on it. After 1 year, see it here. After 2 years, add another, add 5% of
Add
that,
another.
and then
Okay.
so of course there's a simple formula for all of this, So this right here, so this is like the long way of doing it, right? So there's a
Okay.
simpler way of doing this. We'll come to it, right? Oh, so okay, so they kind of show a little thing and saying that at the end of 3 year, it's 4,000. So you
Yeah.
can consider 4,000 here as a P, your principal, and then you could consider this now to be 1 plus R. So how they will write it sometimes that they say 1 plus R raised to the N. Oh, they have it here. So you go down. So P, principal, original
Okay.
amount, and then 1 plus R. In this case, you can think of, you can just put R as the decimal representation. So 1 plus 0.05, which is just 1.05, which is the same as 105 divided by 100. If you carry the decimal 1, 2, 1.05, and then you raise to the n. So that would be 4,000 times 1.05 to 3 for this question. You get the 3 years, or just in general, as I said, to generalize,
Okay.
where you can put n can be any number of years. At the end of 10 years, 20 years, if it's the same rate that you're increasing by, then you're good to go. Here's another example. Safe Loans Limited offers 6,000 with repayments of 3,500 each month for 18 months. And it's a calculate the interest in dollars paid on the loan, the interest as a percentage of the loan. So you get the loan here, but for repay the loan, you have to pay 3,000, not 3,000, 350 each month for 18 months. So 350 times
Mm-hmm.
18, see them here, 6,300.
Yes. 6,300.
But when you look, the loan was original 6,000. So the
Mm-hmm.
interest that you pay is 300. You pay a $300 extra, right? And
Every
then so the
month.
interest as a percentage of the loan. So $300 over the original amount, and you get
Okay.
5%. Right? Let me give some exercises here. So let's say find the simple interest on that. Invested in a savings account, paying interest of 6% per annum, invested for 1 year. for that, blah blah blah. So you can try some of these, right? I think this is a good question.
Okay.
Um, so no worry, we're going to do some questions, as in, 'cause we still have time. What I want to get around to
Yes, sir. No
is,
problem.
I want to get around to some other questions that I put in the group. Some of them related to the simple interest and whatever. So you see them. The thing is that they are worked out, and so it's kind of easier for me to just show you. Um, so I'm not doing a profit and loss here. So I'm going to go back to the interest, simple interest first. All right. All right. So check this out now. So this is a good stuff, right? So think a couple of examples that illustrate what's going on. So it's a simple and compound interest. The simple interest on $15,000 for 4 years is 8,100. Calculate the rate percent per annum,
Okay.
right? So recall SI means simple interest,
Mm-hmm.
PRT. P mean principal, R is rate, T is time. Cool.
Okay.
Now
Yes, sir.
this 100 is not is not boy is not really necessary unless
It's the
it,
person.
yeah, it's just like a percent modifier where it just is either what your rate going come out to be. If you I think if you use the 100, let me see. So for example right here, so it give R as
Rate.
13.5. No, you
That would
must
be the rate.
understand that this 13.5 mean 13.5%. A figure, if, let me see, what would have happened if there wasn't any, um, if there was not 100 here. If 100 wasn't here, then it wouldn't cancel this, and so it would be 4 times 150, which is 600. Um, no, it would be 150. It would be a big number. And then you would have to divide by a very big number here. And so this would become 0.135, which you know is 13.5%. So you just need to understand what the reason for this 100 at the bottom, right? So it's to give you the R, not as a decimal. If you do use it though, then the R going to come out as a decimal. And so you just know that, just write the percentage equivalent for the decimal, right? So looking back at the question, PRT, P, principal, 15,000, R, that's what we're trying to find, for 4 years. And then say the simple interest on 15,000 for 4 years is 8,100. So the simple interest comes out here, and you're basically solving for R.
Okay.
And then you go through and solve for R. Another question, the simple interest on a sum of money invested at 3% per annum for 2 years was $39.75. Calculate the sum of money invested. All right. So this time now, they're asking you to find the principal. So the question above, they ask you to find the rate. Now they ask you to find the principal. So you use the same PRT, because when you look, you get R, which is the rate. Number of years, you get
Mm-hmm.
time,
Person.
and the 39.75 is a simple interest. So the only thing that's missing is what they're asking for, which is the principal.
The principal.
Right? So you go through 39, that. Notice that the R, they give 3%, but you put
Okay.
3 right here. So why put 3? Because they're
Yeah.
using 100 at the bottom. If you're not using 100, then you can use the decimal representation, which is 0.03 for R. Make
Okay.
sense?
Yes, sir.
And then you solve for P, right? So here you just, divide both sides by 100 over 6. And before you know it, you get P. P is 662.50. Another question. Mr. James deposited 40,000 in the bank and earn simple interest of 7% per annum for 2 years. Um, Calculate the amount you will receive at the end of the 2 year period. So simple interest again, say set up your thing. Um, let us see what it says. Because probably it's not that straightforward. Say deposit 40,000 in the bank and earn a simple interest of 7% per annum for 2 years.
For two.
And it's a calculated amount you will receive at the end of the 2 year period. Oh, okay. So maybe I'm going to have to get some of these questions now. Well, let me see how many questions are there. But I want you at least try something. I'll probably try number 4. So for this one, they're asking for the total amount of money. So total at the end of 2 years is the principal when put
Mm-hmm.
in plus the simple
The
interest
interest.
will earn.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me have you do this one, right? Say, it say a man deposited 800 in his account at a bank, which offers 6% simple interest per annum. How much interest would he receive on $800 after 9 months? So that's your
Okay.
question. So remember, for the
All
years,
right.
for every year, when you talk about years, you would put, if it's 1 year, you put 1, 2 years, you put 2,
Mm-hmm.
but they're asking for 9 months. So
Okay.
yeah, I want you to figure out how you would deal with that.
Okay, sir.
All right, so I'm gonna give you just a minute and pause this. All right, so what you have for me?
All right, sir. Using the formula, I have simple interest equals PRT, which is
Mm-hmm.
$800
Mm-hmm.
multiply by 6 over 100
Mm-hmm.
times 9 over 12. Being, I put the months into fraction.
Excellent. That is all that you need to do. Um, yeah, and then once you do that now, let us see. You should just get the
I
answer.
ended up with 36.
Yup.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh.
yeah.
See, I am in class. I'm in class.
All right, so let us see if there's another one that's a simple interest question. Oh, here's another part of the question. How long would it take for 800 to increase to 992? So I'm going to give you a couple, well, that's a couple of seconds. So let me give you a minute to work that out. All right, cool. So for this question, how long would it take for $800 to increase to 992? So as we said before, it's like saying, um, trying to find what going to make up the gap. The gap going to be made up by the interest. So is asking the question, how long will the simple interest grow on top of the 800 to carry to 992? So let's look. So we want to, be able to use this formula. So it's all right. Um, oh, so I basically rewrite it here. So total at the end of the unknown period is 992. That is principal
Okay.
plus simple interest is 992. So it is a 992 equal the principal plus simple interest.
Yeah.
Right? So
Oh,
right here I see what's going on here. Oh, so n, right? So basically solving for n. So you see where it says, all right, 992, which is the total amount equal the principal and then the interest. So we
yeah.
know that simple interest is PRT. So P, the
Yes.
principal, R, the interest component, and then T, the time. So in this case, I guess I used N for the time,
Time is unknown.
right? So you just subtract 800 from both sides to get the 192, and then the 800 here times the 0.06, you get 48. So you end up with
48
192
cents.
equal 48n and divide by 48. So you get 4 years. All right. So, ooh, So this is another question. It says Mary borrowed 3,000 at a rate of 8% per annum. Interest is compounded annually. Calculate the amount owed at the end of 2 years. So this is a compound rate question, or should I say
Okay.
compound interest question.
Mhm.
So we have not looked at the formula, but here it is. So an equal a naught in bracket 1 plus r over 100 raised to the n, where n is the amount at the end of n years. Could I use t2?
Okay.
Same thing. End of n years, and a naught is the beginning amount, right? Or I
Okay.
could have said the beginning principal balance. So remember the question with the appreciation is the same compound interest formula you can use. Remember that question that I think it had mostly 4,000 and it say appreciate at mostly 5% per year.
Per
Uh, yeah,
yes,
so you
sir.
have the 4,000 here, 1 plus 0 plus 0.05. So in other words, 1.05 raised to, I think it asks the amount at the end of 3 years. You put 3 up here and you're good to go. So for this question, it says Mirabar 3,000 a day at a rate of 8% per annum. Interest is compounded annually. Calculate the amount owed at the end of 2 years. So the amount borrowed is 3,000. So 3,000 would be original amount, 8%, so
Yes.
1.08. Calculate the amount owed at the end of 2 years. You replace n and you put 2. And that should be it. See there, boom, quick, quick, quick. And that's the amount at the end of 2 years. Simple.
Okay.
Yeah. So some good questions. I guess we can go back here now. Um, let me see how many. Wow, this is a lot. 11 pages. Um, oh, it includes some higher purchase. Nice. So let us deep dive into some higher purchase type question. It also has some basic pay, some overtime stuff. All right, good stuff. So let us look at the higher purchase section. When you have time, you can look at the other section that deals with profit and loss. I want to make sure go through the higher purchase, and then if anything will have some time, we'll go back to the
Profit on
profit and loss, right? So higher purchase. Let me see this batch look like. Oh, have a little juice left. All right. So the cash price of a TV was that. The higher purchase price was 20% more than the cash price. Calculate the higher purchase price. That's simple. It is a 20% more, right? See there, so all I did was a 1.2 CP is equal to HP. So CP is the cash price, 1.2. Or method that
higher
short
purchase.
way. Yeah, and then so see there, so 2,220, 2,220. And it's a calculate the number of money installments needed to buy the TV on a higher purchase. So I will just go through this one and then give you a chance to do the others, right? So calculate the number of monthly installments needed to buy the TV on higher purchase, given that a down payment of 500 and monthly installments of 215 each were required. So this is a higher purchase price. Um, so to calculate the number of months, you back out you subtract the down payment. So out of this, you subtract the 500, and then now
Mm-hmm.
you see how many times 215 can go into
Can
what
be
is left, and that would give you the number of months. So see here, so higher
okay.
purchase price. So recall higher purchase price equal deposit plus installments. Very important. That is all basically all higher purchase price question set up deposit plus installments. So you have the price, the deposit 500, and then the installments n times 215, and you're solving for n. So n equal 8. So I think it's an
Okay.
annual thing. So it's 8 years. Or line is
Mm-hmm.
months. So it's 8 months,
Month.
right? So it's 8 months you would take and you pay that off. All right, so I
Okay.
give you this question to do. It says the cash price, I'll make it smaller. Hopefully it don't give away too much. Okay. And then let me see if it's okay. So all right, so I get this question. The cash price of a stove is 880. It may be bought on hire purchase with a deposit of 216 plus monthly payments of 35 for a period of 2 years. Calculate the total hire purchase price of the stove. So I give you that to do, and then I figure there's some more below. So when you finish that, you tell me, and then we go to the other part.
Okay, sir.
All right, tell me what's up.
Sir, I added the deposit
Mm-hmm.
to the the 2 years, which is 24 months, times the $35 monthly installment, and ended up with $1,056.
Okay, cool. Let us see. Let us see.
So that is what would be for the higher purchase.
All right, great. So next part says the extra cost of buying. Oh crap! The extra cost of buying on hire purchase as a percentage of the cash price. So it did mention it. Yeah. So the cash price is. Let me see. Okay, so the
Eight
cash
hundred
price is
and
eight
eighty
eighty.
dollars.
All right. So it asks for this one, so you can try that part.
So
I'm already show the answer. All right, fine. Guess your percentage.
yeah,
The difference 176 over 880. All right.
times the 100 over one.
So you get so
20%.
20%.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you this one then. Sure that I don't show anything. All right. Calculate. All right. So try this one. Higher purchase price for a computer is 6,500. A deposit of 500 is made, and the remainder is paid in equal monthly payments of 250. Calculate the number of monthly payments that must be made. So you can try that
Okay.
one.
All right.
All right, cool. So, whew, okay, I want to sleep now. All right.
All
All right, so what you get for the answer?
right, sir. I had my answer. I got 24 months.
24 months. Okay. Let us see. Slowly, 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 slowly. 24 months. All right. So the next part of the question now is if the cash price is 4,000, expressed as a percentage of the cash price, the extra cost of buying on higher purchase. So that's another part. I'll give you a minute for that.
Okay.
All right, what do you have in mind now?
Sir, what I did, I subtracted the cost price from the higher purchase,
Mm-hmm.
got 2,500. Then I said 2,500 over the cost price, which is $4,000
Mm-hmm.
times 100% gives me 62.5%.
Okay, cool. Let us see. Okay, cool, great.
Hmm. Making the hang
Right.
of it.
The next one now, wages and salary. Um, Let me see. So John has a job for which the basic rate is that per hour, and the overtime rate of that is that per hour. Then it says this week John earned 1,377. He worked 7 hours overtime. Calculate the amount he earned at the basic rate. Wait. All right, fine. That's sure. So at the basic rate, um, I have say you work 7 hours. Oh, so oh crap! It's a calculate amount you earn at the basic rate. So I'm already give away a lot of things. So 7 hours times 36. That is the overtime pay, and then pay at the basic rate is just the difference here. What
Okay.
about the calculate the number of hours that you work at the basic rate? Oh yeah, just I just divide that
Divided.
distributed by the basic rate money. So nothing is there that would challenge you, right? So since John noticed that his earnings of that showed a decrease of 10% of his last week's earnings. Calculate his earnings last week. Um, so so it says what? John noticed that his earnings of this showed a decrease of 10% of his last week's earnings. Calculate his earnings last week. So some kind of gross up thing
Oh.
showed a decrease. So it said John noticed that his earnings of this, so this amount showed a decrease of 10%
Of
last
normally
week.
got.
So that means that last week's earnings would have more, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
so what do you think about that?